probably nobody but Marvell is going to know. Probably. Many of you will know that Marvell co-produced and played on Isaac Hayes' seminal 1969 album, Hot Buttered Soul. No single album had a greater impact on black music in the first half of the 1970s. Not a single record, I think, is as important as Hot Buttered Soul. It changed the direction of black music in a whole lot of ways. It also changed the political economy of the black music industry. Before Hot Buttered Soul, the idea was black artists, they make singles. That was the dominant medium of commerce. Hot Buttered Soul, again, this album that Marvell co-produced and played on every single track. Hot Buttered Soul demonstrated that black artists could sell hundreds of thousands and ultimately millions of albums if record companies gave black artists the freedom and the budget to create album-length works. Instead of just cobbling together albums from singles, B-sides, and hurriedly recorded covers, it broke the dam. Jerry Wexler of Atlantic Records, he told me this to my face, and Jim Stewart told me that Jerry had told this to Jim back in 1961. That you sell 30,000 copies of a black album, you'd saturate the market. There's a sense that African Americans were not going to put out that money for those more expensive, longer playing LPs. Hot Buttered Soul proved that wrong. And of course, Otis Redding, Ray Charles, James Brown, they all sold a couple 100,000 copies of their LPs, but over many, many years, things didn't come out of the box and sell the way Hot Buttered Soul did. It changed everything. It made room. It paved the way for Stevie Wonder to do Talking Book, fulfilling his first finale in Intervisions. For Marvin Gaye to do What's Going On and Let's Get It On. For Curtis Mayfield to do that eponymously titled first album and Superfly. For Funkadelic, where are you, Harold Bean? There you are. I wanted to meet you forever. And I know you played with Hot Buttered Soul too. But you played with the Funkadelic Boys. For Funkadelic to do Maggot Brain. For Parliament to do Chocolate City. I will argue till I'm dead that none of those record companies who put out those records would have provided that space. In fact, Berry Gordy really didn't want What's Going On coming out, as a lot of you probably know, because they didn't think that the black populace would support those kinds of records, let alone that they could cross over and sell inordinate numbers to white people. Marvell Thomas was an instrumental, no pun intended, an integral part of proving them wrong with his work on Hot Buttered Soul. And you know that record? It didn't just go to the top pop charts, the top of the R&B charts. It also went jazz and easy listening. Name me a single record that got into the top 5 on all 4 of those charts before that. Jazz, easy listening, pop, and R&B. You will not find one. I guarantee. I guarantee you that. If Marvell Thomas has done nothing else but co-produce and play on that record, he deserved to have that note out there on Beale Street. But he did a whole lot more. A whole lot more. And I'll mention that as an aside, by the way. When Hot Buttered Soul blew up, started in Detroit, and Isaac needed to go on the road to promote that record. First gig was up in Detroit, I think Cobo Hall, right? Marvell was in that band. Bobby Manuel, where are you? Where's Bobby? You were in that band too. So was Jerry Norris and the late great Alan Jones, if I remember correctly. Well, Isaac needed a name for his band. He could have just played as Isaac Hayes, but he wanted a name for that band. Marvell. Jimi Hendrix Experience suggested, well, if Jimmy can have the experience, why could Isaac not have the movement? Marvell gave that name to Isaac Hayes' band, the Isaac Hayes movement. Now, the little side, I think it's kind of cool. Now, instead of Marvell had done nothing else, he deserved that note. But he did a whole lot more, and I want to just reference a few things. It's Marvell Thomas's piano playing that drives that funky New Orleans groove of the very first hit that was ever cut at the Stax Studio, 1960s Macklemore, and that was, of course, his father and his sister's record, 'Cause I Love You. It's Marvell piano. Booker T, by the way, played on that, but he played baritone sax. The piano player was Marvell. Now, I don't know what you know about Stax history. I spent a good part of my life trying to make sure the world knows properly about Stax history. No, 'Cause I Love You stacks. Jim Stewart and Stell Axon, who I'm sure you all know owned the company, were close to bankruptcy. They'd had about 15 releases on what was then Satellite Records that had all flopped. Because I Love You sold 30,000 copies in the Mid-South area. It was the first sign that they could make a record that could sell anything. They got Jerry Wexler and Atlantic Records to come down to Memphis, give them a check for $5,000, if my memory serves me correctly, and made that company a going concern. Marvell